You're listening to the Wise Women Invest podcast, a division of Noise Media Network, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney. Wise Women Invest is on a mission to help 1 million women learn how to make smart money moves by becoming savvy investors in real estate, the stock market, cryptocurrency, and early stage businesses. Now your chief noisemaker and wise woman herself, Audrey Bell Kearney.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so super duper excited to be here this evening with you. Today is the first official day for the Wise Women Invest podcast. Listen, I started out doing the podcast. I did one episode at the beginning of the month with Carolyn Shoemate, who came on and she talked to us about life insurance and some stock options. And I realized at that point that this show had to be a standalone show by itself. So originally it was a segment on the Good Morning Gwinnett show, the first Wednesday of every month. And I was like, yeah, it's not gonna be enough, because I need to be able to talk about all the amazing things that I have met some amazing women. And this is one of them today. And I'm super happy to be here with her. But I knew that this needed to be an episode by itself. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to give Wise Women Invest its own episode, its own day. So now it's Wednesdays. Now I'm still kind of tossed up about the time right now, because it's so much stuff going on in the evening time. But right now it's going to be every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And so today my guest is Miss Janel Belly Jones. Janelle and I met, I think, in 2018. And I got to tell y'all this story, because this story already trips me out. So I was speaking on a panel along with her son. At the time, I think Christian was 11?
Yeah, 11.
18. He was 11 years old, y'all. So I'm listening to this kid speak about stock options. And here I am like, wait a minute. How old is he? He was 11 years old. And after the event, he came up to me. He's like, man, I think he said in awe of you. He didn't say in awe, but he said something to that effect. Like, you're in awe of me. I'm in awe of you. Like little boy, listen, the kid is making more money than me. I'm like, he's in awe of me. I'm in awe of you. It was so funny. But he is such a humble kid. He is such a smart kid, and his mom had everything to do with that. And so I'm excited to be for her to be my guest today. And listen, she did all this, and she's going to tell y'all the story. She did all this while she was serving in the military. When I met her, she was still in Germany, had flew to America just so he could speak in Alabama. We were in Huntsville, Alabama, y'all. And she flew just for him to be there, but he speaks all over the world. So without further ado, Miss Janine Belly, welcome so much to the Wise Women Invest podcast. And I'm so happy because this is our first official episode. So thank you so much for being my guest this evening.
Thank you so much for having me, and be the first guest. That's very special. So I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Not a problem. It's so crazy because I remember when I met you, and she's so humble, y'all. Like, you would think that, because some people, when they get some success, it kind of goes to their head. Being around you would not even know the type of success she's had, because she's so humble and she's so warm. And that's what I like about it. And I've been around some really rich folks, and they suck. I'm just going to be honest. Everybody's not nice, and it's so funny because we have this conversation all the time, Janine. My brother is quick to say money is evil. I say, no, money's not evil. It's the people that's evil. Money is a tool. Money's a tool. It's not the money. It's not the money. So now, you built first of all, let's talk about the kids. I want to talk about, Christian. His name is Christian the Truth Jones, and I call him Truth. So every time I tell anybody, I was like, yeah, you got to go check out Truth Jones. And they'd be like, who? I said, the Truth. I was watching, do you know a guy named Marquell Russell?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Russell? That's Truth's mentor.
Listen, I knew he was talking about Truth, right? So I was watching this interview with him the other day. I think it was yesterday. He never called his name, right? And he started talking about this kid that he's a coach, he's mentoring. And I'm saying to myself, I know he's talking about Truth. So when the host said, well, what does he do? He said he does stocks. I was like, I know that's Truth. I'm going to ask Janelle tomorrow, is that Truth? Because I knew it was him. He never said his name. He just said, and so the host was like, what? He's like, this kid charges. So the host was talking about, because this is a problem that a lot of us had. He was talking about the fact that he does consultations. And so Marquell asked him, well, how much do you charge? And he said, I was charging like $200. And then he told him about Truth. And he's like, well, how much does he charge? Like $1,300 an hour. He was like, what? And I was like, so I mean, I'm like the guy, I'm like, $1,300. We all charging too little. So he was telling how Truth was charging $1,300 an hour for a consultation, y'all. $1,300. Yeah. But he could do it. Yes.
Yeah, but people got to look at the value and not the price. Because for $1,300 an hour to be able to speak with him and have a one-on-one for an hour and ask whatever you want, you should be able to make that right back. If you already know how to trade and you just want to, get some details and learn some companies, break down some things, yeah, that $1,300 you should run back. And it's a life skill. So yeah, that's chump change, to be honest with you.
Listen, that's 13. Listen, we are all underpricing everything out here. And so when David asked him that, and he's like, I charge like $200 an hour. And he was like, $200. And then that's when he told him the story. It was so funny though, because that's something that we all struggle with as entrepreneurs. We all struggle with about how to price our services. And so even me, I had to learn that, I was just giving away stuff. I was just giving stuff away, And when I said giving it away, I was charging, but I wasn't charging hardly anything. Now I charge a little bit more. I feel like, okay, I could charge a little bit more. And I probably always could, but that has been a struggle for not just me, a lot of people. So now I love Truth. I never met your daughter, I don't think. I think I met her.
Yeah, Bailey Love. So she makes all his products, and she actually runs his back end of his office. So she does payroll, she does the 401k, and she's 10 years old, and she her own boss. She does her own thing. Trust me. Yeah.
Wait a minute, y'all. Wait. Janel, listen. Janel said she runs the payroll. Okay, so how many staff members does he have?
He currently has 6 staff members. He has several contractors, but 6 on staff that he pays regularly. Yeah.
That 14. Yeah. Do you hear what I'm saying? 14. So Janel, talk to us about, because I know you're raising 2 moguls right now. Now I know that your daughter Belly Love does the payroll at 10. That's crazy. How did you get into trading, and what was it like teaching the kids how to do this?
Okay, so I got into trading and it was funny because that was actually through my son too, indirectly. He wanted to go see Les Brown. And so he had been listening to Les Brown on the radio, and Les Brown had a radio show where he would call in every week, and Truth would sit there and listen to Les Brown. So finally, Les Brown was coming to Tampa at this event called Let's Get Motivated. And so we went to the event, and there was a guy, and he was talking about trading. I had never heard of trading. I knew about the stock market, but not about trading. And he made it so simple. I was like, that's all you have to do? Of course it wasn't that wasn't all you had to do, but he made it simple to draw us in. So I actually took his course, and it really was overwhelming because it was great, but it was so much information for him. You had to do something like he gave you 4 phases. You had to complete the first phase in 6 weeks and the next phase in 9 weeks. So if you got behind, there's no room for to catch up, and life happens. And so it got so overwhelming. It was so much information. I said, let me pause and just slow down and go back, and I'll just have to go on my own pace. And so eventually Truth has seen another kid out in Chicago that had made $50,000 just investing in the stock market. And most of his money, I think he made at the time, was in Nike stock. And so he came to me at 9 years old, was like, Mom, I want to learn how to invest in the stock market. And I was like, yeah, I don't think you're ready. So he went back, did his due diligence, did his homework, looked up some vocabulary, understood the concepts and terminology, came back to me and was like, Mom, I'm ready to open my brokerage account. And I was like, wow, at 9 years old, like I didn't know what a brokerage account till I was good and grown, like 30. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, at 9, he at least know the terminology. He's really interested. And so let me go ahead and feed that curiosity, and let's just see what it does. Because nothing else, even if he doesn't get it right now, he'll understand it later. I've already planted the seeds, and he'll get it later, and he'll be able to pick up and understand certain concepts and things. But unbeknownst to me, he ended up becoming a beast at that thing. Like he woke up, lived, breathed, and eat everything stock market, because he loves history as well. So it's easy for him to understand what's going on in China directly affects our stock market, because he's interested in history. He understands their history and how the government moves and what they do and how it plays into the stock market. So it made him very aware of how it all ties together globally. And then by us living globally, I think that helped as well, because we traveled to so many different countries and so many different places. He was able to understand the history and tie it all together.
It's so funny. You said he was listening to Les Brown. What prompted him to listen? I didn't find out about Les Brown until I was about 28 years old. He was at the Learning Annex, and that's when I first met him in New York. That's when I first heard Les Brown. I fell in love after I heard him, but I was about good 28, 29. What in the world made him wanted to listen to Les Brown. How do you even know who Les Brown was?
I always listen to personal development in the car. I don't listen to the radio because I'm like, I would have to drive them to school and it would be like 30 minutes one way, drive back 30 minutes to go to work, and driving to football and soccer practice and all that other good stuff. And so we were listening to self-development. And so one of them was Les Brown, and he just took to Les Brown. And he was just so captivated by Les. And so when we took him to the Les Brown, to go see Les Brown live speak, he was like, Mom, that's what I want to do. And that's the one thing I can say about him. When he locks in on something, whether it was speaking, investing, he is like tunnel vision. He locks in, he does the research. He's going to research how many times somebody spoke, how much they got paid, where they spoke, what was their speech. He'll break down the speech. He don't just listen to them just to get motivated or get encouraged. He looks at the history and the data and the statistics behind everything.
Wow, like that's really advanced. Like 14 years old. Well, he started at 9. So when I think about, my nephew is 16 now. He's and I want you to get a chance to meet him. He just moved here in November. He plays for Grayson High School. He's a football product.
You have to bring him Friday. You have to. He will be my baby. So I need to meet.
I need you to meet him because he has college offers already, and he's about to be a freshman in high school. And so, he has I want to say about 10 offers. Like every time he goes to a camp, he gets an offer. He got an offer last week from Arizona, and my brother's a coach. I remember I told you that he's a coach.
You did. Okay.
My nephew is a coach at Florida State. And so my brother coaches at Grayson. My brother coaches at Berkmar High School here. He's been here a little bit. He's been here almost 6 months now. He coaches at Berkmar High School here. My nephew is going to be going to Grayson as a freshman. My other nephew, his brother, coaches at Florida State. But he's locked into football like that. And I asked him because he could play basketball really well, just like his brother used to be able to play basketball. And I said to him, I said, well, how did you choose football over basketball? Because you're good at both. He said, I felt like I at football. And what was interesting about that is that they know how to make these decisions so young. I'm trying to think back when I was like 9 and 13, was I making I think I was just chasing boys. I remember making any life-changing decisions back then. But I just think it's so cool. So now I know that you have been training them up the whole time you were in the military. What made you decide to go into the military, and how have you been able to do that while working full-time as an officer?
Okay, so I've been in the military for 26 years. Yes. So I started off as enlisted. I switched over to officers. I went green to gold and traveled the world. And I actually started off being a coach. I was a John Maxwell leadership coach. And I said, instead of getting clients and helping other people with their business, because what I would do, I would go to work, come home, have to run my business. And of course, I got to shut my kids. I have to shut the door on my kids. That wasn't fair to them. So I said, how can I incorporate them in my business so it can be a family event? And I said, you know what? Let me, if I can do this with adults, I'm really a beast. If I can do it with children that don't have any concept of business, never been in corporate, had a blue collar job, like no formal education. So if I can get results with my children, not once, but twice in different fields and different areas, doing adults when I come back full circle will be too easy. So that's how I kind of took the children into the business.
That's pretty cool. So I tried to be a coach early on. It was so funny because you have to be a special kind of person to be a coach. Let me just say that. And when I first started my first business, I quit my job. Like people thought I had lost my mind. I quit my job to do the business. And so when I became a coach, I was really tough because it's like, okay, you can't give me any excuses. I had a freaking paper route. I quit my job. And so when people started talking about, they started making up all these excuses as to why they couldn't do certain things. I was like, yeah, it's not going to fly with me. And it just got to the point like, okay, I'm not doing this. You're wasting your money and my time. I'm not doing this. So when you were a coach, what type of clients did you work with?
At that time, I was looking for people that needed leadership. People sleep on leadership because people think they already have it because they're the CEO or the business owner. But a lot of times when your business can only grow at the level of leadership that you have. So if your leadership on a scale of 1 to 10 is at a 6, your business can only grow to a 4. Your employees can only go to a 4. Same thing with parents in a household. If your leadership skills are not that if they're subpar, your kids can only grow to a certain level because you're leading by example. And so a lot of times people look at, marketing and branding, they look at everything else in their business, but they never dissect their leadership style and what it takes to actually lead an organization to the next level. And sometimes, just like if you actually go out and get an angel investor and they invest in your business, or a VC, they look at your leadership and they're like, you know what, you don't have what it takes. You're smart and you have the business ideas and you're the brain of the operation, but you're not the person that needs to be leading the company to go to the next level. So they will remove you as the business owner and put another person or their team in there to lead the company to go to the next level. And people are so emotional about, whether it be parenting, their business, and they don't want to remove themselves. Sometimes you have to remove yourself. Like for me, I've invested several $1,000 into my children. I'm not always the best coach for them or the best mentor for them, depending on, what they're trying to do. So I understand I need to remove myself and just be mom and not just be a momager all the time, and remove myself so somebody else can come and coach them and take them to the next level, because they're going to see things that I don't see because that's their gift and that's their lane. And so they'll be able to develop my kids that much faster as well, because they know that, versus me trying to figure it out and, just going the long route about it. Just pay a coach, take the shortcut. That's the cheat code. Pay somebody that's been there, done that, and that's where you want to be, so you can get there faster. And, then you save yourself time. It's money on the front end, but like I said, it's an investment, not a cost. It's an investment. And so you look at it that way. You're investing in yourself for the long term so you can get to where you want to go.
A lot of people don't think about it like that. So let's go back for a second. I want to unpack leadership, because I think when you think about a leader, like you said, when you run the company, you think I'm the CEO, I'm the leader, I'm the head, boss in charge or whatever. What does it actually take to be a good leader? Like your kids, I don't have a staff. I have 2 people. Well, that's not true. I have 2 people that work with me. He has a staff of 6. You taught him how to be a leader. What does it take to be a good leader? And how do you know you're not a good leader?
Well, a lot of people don't know. That's the problem. They will, and they do, they won't admit it. But you don't know if you've never been exposed to different leadership styles and understand leadership and understand what it takes for your organization, because every organization is different. And it depends on what's your level of success and what does it look like. Because depending on, what your level of success is, are you the right leader for that business at that particular time? Maybe you took your business from 0 to 100K, but are you want to take it to, 7 figures or 8 figures? If you've never been there, you might not be the one to take it there. Or again, you might need a coach or a mentor to help you get there so that you can understand it. But leadership is very complex and every organization is different. And I really had to work on my children, because it was hard for them to give adults direction, even though what they were doing, they's like, I can't tell them that. Why not? You pay them every week. And so I had to help them get comfortable being the person in charge, even though that person was older than them and might actually have a college degree and have more experience than they do as far as corporate America. But at the end of the day, they're on your payroll. So you need to understand how to lead an organization and how to get somebody to follow you. A lot of people they think, leadership is just one-way communication. But like my friend John Maxwell say, communication, it goes 2 ways. A lot of people communicate, but they don't communicate effectively. So when they don't communicate effectively, then again, your vision, your mission, none of that gets done. So what do you say? A lot of people communicate, but I can't remember the saying he says.
So now with you being 14 years old now, and he has adults that are under his leadership, how do they respond to him? Because I kind of, it's almost like I know he's a prodigy, and I'm sure they know it now. But when they first came to work for him, like, were they surprised that he was like 14 years old and probably younger at the time?
No, they actually knew him prior to, and I think they're very humble because they haven't accomplished what he has. So regardless of age, because we can, at the end of the day, we got to take that out the equation, because we dealt with that. You deal with ageism, and so it's like you have to go into the room with a boss mindset, and no matter who's in the room, represent yourself at that table the best that you can. And age is not even a factor because you're at the table with them. So y'all on an equal playing field at this point. So yeah.
I think that's so cool. Like he has grown people working for him at 14. Every time I think about him, and I remember I was talking to somebody, I forgot today. I was talking to somebody today and I was like, yeah, he did a TED. I know. It was a young lady calling me, asking me about, I talked to two young ladies. Anyway, one of them asked me about something. I was like, yeah, I'm interviewing this, a wonderful woman tonight, her son. I met him a couple of years ago. He was speaking on the stage. I said he did TED Talk. She's like, did the TED Talk? I was like, yeah, girl. And I was up there like clapping like I was his mother, like, yay. Because when he did the TED Talk, I was like, oh my God, I'm so proud of this kid. He ain't my kid. But he just makes me proud because he's a young Black man just making it happen in an industry that you don't see a lot of African Americans in. How has that been? Like, how has the reception been to him being not only so young, but also being a young Black man in that space?
Overall, it's been really great. So many people, traders, Black traders, men have welcomed him. It was like, hey, whatever you need, if it's something I can teach you, if it's something you need, please reach out to me. So many people reached out to him, or they put him on their platform. And even though they trade, there's no competition. They like the kid. He's a young Black man. I want to see him do well. So it actually has been really well. I mean, of course, you always have your trolls on social media, but for the most part, really well. And he has, last year he went viral 4 times. And one of the big things was he was in Market Watch, which is one of the bigger publications for investors and traders. And when GameStop was going on, Market Watch reached out to him to get his opinion on the GameStop trade. So that was huge.
Heck, I should have reached out to him because I didn't find out about GameStop till it was too late. I'm like, oh my God. Now I can tell you what I did do that was really cool. When AMC was really low, I said to my husband, we got to get AMC because it's going to go back up when we can go outside. And I'm telling you now, every day he's like, oh my God, I'm so glad we did this because I knew it was going to go back up because people are going to go to the movies. But at the point it was really low. And I was like, AMC, that's the movies. I'm like, we got to get that. So now you've been trading for quite some time. You worked alongside your kids and the industry is like, I don't know. I feel like it's just blossoming. Like you got cryptocurrency, you got Forex trading, you got stock options. And how do you decide which way to go? Like, I know you trade options. What made you go with options versus Forex or even crypto at this point?
Actually, we're learning crypto. I'm not an expert in it by any means, but we're learning crypto, and I have a lot of successful people around me in crypto that are really getting to the bag. So I'm definitely looking forward to actually learning that skill set. But option was the first thing I ran into. It was the first thing I was introduced to besides just investing in the stock market. And so that's what we gravitated to because at the time, that's all we knew. I didn't know anything about Forex until, all the social media stuff and everybody's like Forex. But to be honest, I don't know anybody in Forex that has made money doing Forex. I think, so I don't know. I ain't saying they don't make money. I just don't personally know anybody. So I'm not in that circle of people that's doing well in Forex, but options and crypto, I'm in those circles.
Yeah. I met a guy years ago. His name was Steven. God, this was years. It had to be 15, 16 years ago. He was in Texas. God, what was his name? His first name is Steven. He was doing Forex back then. Like, and people still wasn't like on it. Like he was young. He had been shot. He was in a gang and all that. He got out and some kind of way he got introduced to Forex and he made a killing in Forex. But still back then, nobody was talking about, he was probably the only person talking about Forex and nobody paid him attention because like, we don't know what that means. So like you're saying, the last few years, it has been like Forex. And even my niece graduated from Georgia Southern last year. And she was doing Forex. And I was like, what? You doing Forex? But it was a network marketing company. And it was she was trying to explain it to me. And I was like, you got stocks and network marketing? So I couldn't even wrap my head around it. But recently I did meet a young lady who was in a company. And she was telling me she was doing really well in Forex. And I was like, okay, cool. I think I'm kind of leaning more towards crypto too. Because I just look at everything that's going on, and Hill Harper just launched the Black Wall Street app. I'm excited about that. So I'm kind of leaning towards crypto, versus I'm not sure about Forex yet. I'm not there yet. So I have to see some dollar signs. I have to like the girl showed me like some trades, and I was like you, it can't be that easy because everybody will be doing it.
Yeah.
That was my thought.
Yeah.
That was my thought. So when you got ready to open up your brokerage account, what did you have to do? What did that look like? How difficult was that? What did that look like?
Now that's very easy. That's probably the easiest part. And you don't have to open up with any money. You do have to fund it within the first 30 days, but you can open it up with no money. And then, within the, sometime within the next 30 days, put some money in there. And you basically just call, whatever brokerage platform that you want to trade on. And it's almost like a bank. They're all the same, but everybody has pros and cons. It might have something you like, and it might depend on what kind of trader you want to be. If you trade on a computer, if you day trade, if you swing trade, if you want to trade on your phone, different people have different apps, different training programs to help you trade paper money, which paper money is basically like you're playing with monopoly money, but you're doing the same trades at the same time. So if you were doing them in real life, it's how much money you would make or how much money you would lose. So it's, it's real live at the same time as a real money. It's just paper money. So you can practice and understand and get control of your emotions. But open a brokerage account, again, you would just call somebody like E-Trade, Fidelity, or something like that, Charles Schwab, and you tell them you want to open a brokerage account, and they have reps there to help you because they're always looking for new customers. They want want you to, be on their platform. So they're open 24/7 and they can help you out. Yeah.
It's so funny. You said get control of your emotions. You didn't even say learn the platform. You said it's trade and get. So why do you need to get control of your emotions? Because I feel like, am I going to do something that's going to make me like run out in front of a car? Like,
trading is very emotional. It's more emotional than technical. Like you can have all the technical skills, and if you can't control your emotion, you will either jump out of trade too early and not make as much money as you could, or not jump out in time and lose all your money because you're hoping it goes back up. You're hoping it goes in your direction because you're emotional. You're tied to your money, or you go in with like, I'm gonna make $50,000 and you just made 30 and you still being greedy. It's like, take some of that profit and get out the way. At least break even at the, but people, it'll go down and it keep going down. They just be watching it, hoping it goes back up. So I'm just like, yeah.
So, because I've seen movies where people are just locked in a room, they're barely eating, the lights are off, and all they do is trade all day long. Is that a scenario that could really happen?
It can, and it's because you go in without a plan. You're emotional, and you shouldn't trade that many times a day or a month. You should already have a plan. Like we have a yearly plan, how many trades we're going to make, how much money we want to make, what kind of trades we're going to take, whether it be a swing trade, a long-term trade, a scalp, which is you literally in and out in like 15, 20 minutes. So we already have a plan. What companies we want to trade. Now, every now and then you get something like a GameStop or AMC. Like, hey, let's go scalp them real quick and make a couple $1,000s. But generally, you have a long-term plan, and if something happens politically or situational, you can trade your plan. If you don't have a plan and you just going off of hope or what you heard on the news, usually by the time it's on the news, it's too late. By the time they was already talking about GameStop, the big, what we call whales, the big players, they already jumped in there and made their money. Now you're going to get caught holding the bag because they're taking their money out.
Okay. So now you named a whole bunch of stuff just then. You said the scalper and you said it'd be a scalper. And what is a scalper? What are those? You said scalper and some other ones. What are they?
So they're all trades. They're all different kind of traders, and those are different trading styles. A scalper, you're in and out in 30 minutes or less. You just want to, sometimes you're in and out in 5 minutes. You know exactly, it's really precision. You jump in at this time, you jump out at this time. To the dollar amount you want to jump in. If it's $2.50, I'm not jumping in if it's going at $2.60. I got to get it right at $2.50. I'm not getting it. It's literally that. And you in and out. A swing trade is 3 to 6 months. we usually swing trade Microsoft. Microsoft, when it drops below 2%, it's a great time to jump in, take advantage of we call a dip, take advantage of the low point. We keep it for like 3 to 6 months, let it run back up, jump out with profit. And then you have position trades. That's usually a position you're going to hold for at least 1 year, because trading, you can position trade for up to 2 years. And anything you hold for over a year and 1 day, you pay less money on capital gains. So it depends. It's so many different factors, so many different variables, whether you work part-time, how much time you can dedicate to it, how you want to trade, how profitable you want to be. Because every time you go in the market, you're taking a chance of losing your money as well as gaining money. People only look at the upside, they don't look at the downside. And that's why you have to have what we call stop losses in the when you're doing trading. So I can't lose any more than this. I'm gonna stop, and then automatically stop and cash you out, and you're good. But people will let it go down and just lose their money because they're emotional.
So let's say I put some money in a trade, and I'm not watching it, but the stop loss is watching it, so it knows that I've set a parameter that says if it goes below $3 or $10 or whatever it is, sell. It knows that, so I don't have to watch. Because my thing is, every time I think about this, I think about I'm gonna have to be in front of the computer, like watching the computer, like as it goes up and down. So that makes a lot of sense.
And if you know your companies and know how they move, unless something happens, whether it be locally or globally in the market, or for example, we go to war with China, or they even talking about going to war, or we have any kind of trade tensions, the market's going to go down. So you got to know your companies and know how they're going to react to certain news. Or if there's a press conference, if there's an election, all those things change the market. And so that's why you have a trading plan and a trading journal, because you're going into the market already understanding the cycles of the market. You're understanding the emotions and what's going on in the economy locally and globally that could affect your trade. So, they all come into play when you're trading. And so you don't have to sit in front of the computer. You can set up those long trades. Now, when you're scalping, like I said, you want to be in the market less than 30 minutes. I love to scalp because I would scalp first thing in the morning. I'll make my money and I feel so good for the day. I done made money. I've been profitable. I got the rest of my day to do what I want to do.
So how much money do you need to, like, okay, so let's say it's scalping, because now you get me excited. How much money do you need to open up a brokerage account to just get started? Like thousands or hundreds?
No. So we usually advise people not to start with more than 300 to 500. And
really?
Yes, because again, you got to understand your emotions and get a hold and figure out what trading style you want. So we usually tell people open up with 300 to 500. So therefore, you're not losing your mortgage. You're not going to get put out of your house. Your kids still going to be able to go to daycare. And so they'll play with that money. Usually they'll be able to double it in 2 weeks. If definitely 30 days, if not 2 weeks. Now you take that money off the table, and now you're playing with our house money. And then you slowly build up your nest egg. You always take profits off the table, put them to the side, and now you can start going for the bigger trades. But generally, if you don't have control of your emotions, people go for the bigger trades and they take more risk. That's why a lot of professionals don't even trade their own money. They let somebody else trade it, because you're more, you won't take as many risks when you're trading somebody else's money.
Really?
It's like driving somebody else's car. You more like let me back up and make sure. The responsibility.
Wow. So now, you have this brokerage account. You decide which way you want to. Would you want to be a scalper or a swing trader? How do you know which stock to pick?
Well, that's a whole class and a whole lesson of which stocks to pick. And it also depends on what industry. I love tech industry. Some people, if you are a doctor or a physician or some type, and the medical sector, that might be your stocks that you look at. So, so many stocks and so many different sectors. It just depends on what you naturally gravitate to. And I say that because it's usually easier because you already see those things on TV. You already are tuned in to watch them. You probably getting emails. You're probably following stuff talking about Apple or Microsoft. And so you don't have to go dig for information. It's probably already right in front of you anyway, or you're already familiar with those companies and not necessarily how they move, but you're familiar with their information and you understand the history of the company. And so now it's easier to trade or even invest on those companies because you're already familiar with the information. And so it's not going to take you a long time to do the research, and it makes it more, it's easier. Everybody's is crunched for time. And so you don't want to spend hours trying to research companies and understand. But Kristen in his program, he teaches people how to look at companies, what to look at, and he gives you a tool so you can put in the parameters of once you figure out what to look at, you put the information in the parameters and how much you want to spend on stocks, and it brings up all those companies that falls into your right and left limits.
Man, that's so freaking cool. I'm sitting here thinking about I was looking at, so I use Vimeo a lot, right? So Vimeo is a somebody gave you a thumbs up, cool. Vimeo is a streaming media platform, and they just went public recently. And I was like, man, I should have been following them because I use them all the time. Like that's my CDN for all my video stuff. And I was like, I can't believe I wasn't paying that any attention. So that's the other thing. Like you got to really be kind of paying stuff attention. I guess when you're really thinking about doing this seriously. And I know for you guys, this is just something that you do seriously, and you've done really well in this space. And let me ask you this, because I know that you've built a couple of 7-figure business. Are they all pertaining to stock, or were they like other ventures along the way as well? Because I know you got a lot going on.
No, there was other ventures along the way. I kind of grew up in entrepreneurship because my mom was an entrepreneur, and so she had a healthcare agency, and actually she still does. And so I would always be doing stuff in her healthcare agency, whether it's actually going out marketing to the nursing homes or, being her receptionist or whatever she had me doing at the time. And so I kind of grew up around, in that entrepreneurship space. So I've done so many different things over the time. So it's definitely been a journey of, you go through your peaks and valleys and your learning and all of that good stuff. So, yeah.
So now you went into the military. Your mom was an entrepreneur, because my dad was an entrepreneur, but he lived in California. Like he and my mom got divorced when I was like 10. So I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was, not really, until I was like 27, I think it was, or 25 or something. And I still didn't know what I was doing. The first thing I did was Avon, go figure. So that was the first thing I ever did. But you were exposed to entrepreneurship early on. What made you decide not to go into the family business and then go into the military instead?
Well, I actually went to college on a track scholarship. And while I was in college, and 2 of my track teammates, they went into the reserve, which you go 1 weekend a month, and they were making like a couple $100. As a broke college kid, you like, oh, let me go into the reserve and make a couple $100 a month. And you just got to go 1 weekend. I'm like, it sounds like a good deal to me. So I went into the reserves, was in the reserves, kind of just stayed in. And then what actually transitioned me to go on active duty was actually I lost my oldest 2 children, Elijah and Jeremiah. They were twins, and they had a disease called twin transfusion, where one was getting too much blood and the other one wasn't getting enough. And I actually was running a business then, and I was just mentally drained, tired. And I was like, let me just go into the military where I don't got to do nothing. I mean, somebody's going to tell me what to do for the most part. Like I don't have all this responsibility on me. And so, I went into the military, didn't plan on staying, but moving around, like you moved around every 2 years, it went by so fast. And I kept saying, I'm gonna get out. And I seen so many opportunities, but I also was able to leverage my network every time I moved and meeting all these people in all these different states and even countries that I would have never got to meet. And so I still always had my business on the side. And I knew my last 5 to 7 years, I needed to lock in and get serious with my business as I got ready to retire and transition out. Because I knew how long it would take usually to make a consistent profit to replace my income.
Have you retired?
I actually officially retire in September.
Okay. Because I know when I met you were in Germany. You were going to go to, I think, South Carolina, and then I think Tennessee or that way somewhere. And I was like, okay. But that's pretty cool. That's really so. While you were in the military, right? I'm sure you must have met a bunch of military wives and other women in the military. Did you help them? Like, did anybody come to you and say, "Hey, Janelle, I know you're doing this thing, girl. Help me because I got to get out of here with you." Were there other women who came to you to ask for help in like business and learning how to trade and run businesses?
Oh yeah, that's actually part of my mentorship, part of my leadership style in the military. You have to come to me. You don't have to come to me, but you're going to sit down with me and we're going to make a game plan for your next 1 year, 5 year, and 10 years. Because we all have to come out the uniform at some point. And so many military people come out and honestly don't know what they want to do because they came in at 18 and they're literally scared to go out into the civilian sector. And they're intimidated because sometimes their military skills don't transfer. And then sometimes they're just intimidated because I got so comfortable doing this military thing for so long. So I would always make my soldiers have a game plan, and we would look at everything from finances to personal to military schools, civilian schools, how are we going to get there? And then just break down the steps. And so several of my civilians that work for me and soldiers definitely invest. We definitely sit down and talk about it. I literally would have lunch breaks and we would break down companies. I would teach them how to trade. It's funny when you say Germany. When I first got to Germany, one of my soldiers was trading, and I remember somebody telling me he's really good, but sometimes he's not focused. And he's like all over the place. But when he's focused, he's locked in. Well, after having a conversation with him, I realized he lost $90,000 in the market. I said, don't worry about it. I got you. And I understand why he couldn't focus. I wouldn't be able to focus if I lost $90,000.
Me neither.
Right. He was able to recoup that in like 3 months. He was, yes.
Okay, so let's back up. So he lost 90,000. How much did he have to put back in to recoup that in 3 months?
I don't know how much he actually put back in. I know what companies he was looking at, but I don't know how much he put back in, but he definitely got it back in 3 months.
What?
But he's one of those big to go home. I was like, would you quit? Like, he'll be up $30,000. Like, nah, I'm going big or going home. I'm like, no, get out. And again, that's again controlling your emotions.
So let me ask you this, because I know that I asked this question to someone yesterday. So you teach people how to trade. Do you need to be licensed in securities to be able to teach people how to trade, or do you just need to be able to teach them? Like, because I'm kind of the SEC is kind of, they're kind of rough about certain things. So how does that work out?
No, in order to teach people how to trade, you don't need any certification. However, if you're going to tell them what to do, then you need certification. If I'm going to tell you what trades to make and give you advice on your money, I need certification to say that, I understand the risk involved and things of that nature when you're dealing with other people's money. So, but we teach you where you really don't need us. I don't want you to need me. You need to make your own decisions. It's your money. And I don't know your overall goals, your family goals, what you plan on doing with the money. If you're remodeling your house, if you're buying a new house, if you're doing traveling with the money, if it's for college, it's for retirement. I don't know what your goals are. So for me to tell you what to invest in, now I will show you my trades most of the time, not all the time, because again, I don't want people copying my trades because I want you to learn how to be self-sufficient. But a lot of times the students give us trades. They'd be like, hey, did you look at so-and-so? I'd be like, I wasn't looking at it, but let me look at it now. Yeah. And it's fun when you can go back and forth and now you have a group of competent traders and you all can talk and break down companies and look at things.
I know I'm looking forward to doing it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I'm so excited about, and it's so crazy because I'm a life insurance agent. I've been licensed for a long time, just never did anything like major. And I got into the financial industry because I really fell in love with the rule of 72. Like, that's what pulled me in. Like, when I saw the rule of 72, I was like, I want to do that. But then when I went in, the people that I went in with, they were like, well, you got to sell insurance first. I'm like, I don't want to sell insurance. I want to do that. And so I kind of just let my license just sit there and not do anything with it. But here lately, over the last 2 years, I've kind of been looking back at it. And then this year, like Good Morning Gwinnett is kind of doing its own thing. I was like, well, Good Morning Gwinnett is doing its own thing. I want to do more podcasts, right? But I want to focus on the industry I feel like is really going to help people. And that's pretty much why I started Wise Women Invest. I was like, you know what? let me do something that's gonna help women. Let me do. And then I started thinking about all the people that I knew. Like, wait, now I know this person, I know that person, and everybody was doing just some amazing things. I'm like, wait a minute, I know some amazing women trading stock and cryptocurrency and all this thing. So I'm excited about like the future. So I know at the beginning of the show you said that you are into crypto right now. You're not a professional at it just yet, but you're there. Where are you right there, and how is it simple? Because I'm doing like I jumped on the crypto wagon, bought some Bitcoin and Dogecoin and let's see, Anchor and something Stellar Lumen, and I got all kinds of stuff going on. But I feel yes, a lot of them. Like, how do you even pick one? And for those who don't know what crypto actually is, do you have like anything to share about what it actually is so people can understand? Because I know for me, I look at some, I'm like, okay, so, but I think of it kind of like I think about gold. Like, what does gold really do? Like, what is
a digital
like?
currency? Yeah, it's a digital currency. Just like we went, digital pretty much on, social media and everything else is a digital currency. And the point of cryptocurrency is so that you and the person can exchange money for goods and services without a middleman, the bank or the government or anybody being involved. That was the whole point of cryptocurrency. Now that they have it on Coinbase and stuff like that, now the government is taxing you on it. But there are ways you can still take your money offline so it can't be tracked. So those are your people that are really into cryptocurrency and heavy in cryptocurrency, and it's legal. So I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But yes, a digital currency. You can, just like you use a credit card or cash, you just use digital currency. And FYI, for people that are not paying attention and not interested, if you look at the dollar, it's a dollar is worth less today than it was 2 years ago, and so the value of our dollar is decreasing, and so it will be replaced eventually. And then inflation is creeping.
When I think about the value of the dollar, I think about dinars. I don't know if you remember when everybody was buying dinars, and they were like, "We're gonna buy it." So I like when I heard it, of course, I jumped into like, I gotta buy me some dinars, and they were like, "It's gonna reevaluate." I'm like, "It's never gonna happen." Like right to this day, and I know people who have millions and millions and millions of dollars of dinars just waiting for it to go back up in value, and it's never going to happen. Everything will be digital before that happens. That's what I believe. But if it should ever happen, I got my little envelope stacked away, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. So thinking about where we are right now, the pandemic took a toll on everything and everybody last year. How did that affect your portfolio? Did it help it? Did it not help it? How did that affect your portfolio?
We was look, they say, the kids say we was Gucci. It went down, but because we trade options, and options you can make money if the stock market goes down or up, we were good. His clients were good. He had so many clients was hitting 6 figures a month. I was like, when I say he, I'm talking about my son. I'm like, does this little boy understand how he's impacting lives and changing literally generations? It was crazy. It was crazy the impact that I know he had on changing households. So, you get the letters, you get the emails, you get the the Facebook Messenger and posts. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Woo! So what's next for the family? Because I feel like some big things coming. What's next for the family? Because it's a family affair, y'all. It's not just Janelle. It's not just Truth. It's not just Bailey. It's a family affair. What's next for the family?
So this weekend we are having his award show, him and Bailey's award show called Playmakers, where they honor 17 amazing children from around the United States. So if you know one or you have one in your household, you need to get with us. They don't get their flowers and get the respect and love and attention that they should, because most of them are probably using their brains instead of their bodies. They don't go viral for dancing. They don't go viral for rapping or battle raps or basketball or football, any of that. He has several young prodigies in his group that are super amazing, doing amazing things, from speakers to people that have products, they have services. One little girl does ballet, and not only does she has ballet, she opened her own ballet school. And I think she's 14. We have another little girl, 12 years old. She's already in college studying engineering, and I think physics. And she's 12, and she already has an intern at NASA. And she wants to be a NASA engineer. Yeah, like these kids are beyond dope. So to get them all together in a room at Truth Playmakers, it's truthplaymakers.com. If you want to go look at the previous year's honorees and awardees, it's truthplaymakers.com. And we're celebrating that this year on Juneteenth, which is amazing. And what's even more amazing, when you asked me the question about how he's been received in the community, so many of those traders that reached out that are making $1 million a month, buying $1 million cars and doing all that, they're going to be here supporting him this weekend. So it's going to be a phenomenal event with a lot of great people in the room that have accomplished great things. And so that's our next big thing. And then after the award show, then our next big thing will be really just breaking down which direction we want to go into real estate, because we don't know if we want to do wholesale. We don't know if we want to do commercial. We don't know if we want to do trailers, where you buy trailer parks. So we might even do Airbnbs, but I'm thinking we're probably leaning more towards trailers, but it will be a family decision. Just because I'm the parent, I don't get the final say unless it doesn't make sense. But I let them have room to mess up and make mistakes now while they're young. So when they get older, they have so much game and knowledge and information, not just from me hearing it or them learning it in school, but actually executing, failing, and getting back up and going on and doing it right the next time. So I let them fail early and often, and let them mess up and make their mistakes so they know for themselves, not just because mama said so.
How did it bounce back after failure? Because as a grown person, we felt, listen, something happens in our business, we're down for like days, like, oh my God, I can't believe I let that happen. How do they bounce back after a failure?
They shake it off. It's like, how you see a little kid learn how to walk at 1 year old and they fall down, get back up. We fall down. We like, I hope that nobody see me. I'm embarrassed. And nope, they don't care. They just jump right back up. They try again, fell again, and they just pop right back up. Like they have no care in the world, because I've given them permission to let them know it's okay to fail. And we talk about our failures and we celebrate them.
Yeah. Celebrate your failures. That's pretty good. I might use that tomorrow on my show. Celebrate your failures. So Janel, I know that you help a lot of people. Tell everybody what you're doing to help other people's children, other people who want to invest. What are you doing to help? Because I know you got things going on as well. And I know you got your company that you're now starting to build your own personal brand. Tell us a little bit about that and what you're doing.
Okay, so again, my name is Janel Jones. I am the creator and founder of Parenting a Prodigy, where I help you and your young prodigies learn how to monetize their gifts, talents, and skills and turn it into passive income. So that's my long-term baby, my long-term goal, what I love, because I love taking kids from ground zero and building them up and watching them on the journey. It's like, watching your baby grow. When they learn how to walk, when they learn how to talk, you just be like, oh my God. Like, that's what it is for me. So I actually really love it, really enjoy it. And just let them be free to listen to their internal instincts and know that they can do whatever it is they want to do. And they were brought into the world with a purpose. And let's start getting to that early so we can actually live life to the fullest, because we're fulfilling our purpose while we're here.
I wish somebody had told me I could be an entrepreneur way back when, girl. And I say that all the time because I feel like I wasted so much time, even though I know a lot of my experiences have helped me to be where I am right now. And I've been an entrepreneur for 24 years. So it's been a long time. But had I known when I was like 20 that I could have been an entrepreneur, I think I would have skipped the next 10 years and went straight to that. But I didn't know. So I think it's really cool that you're helping parents to help their children right now find out what they're passionate about and what their gifts are and how to turn those gifts into successful businesses. Listen, y'all, her kids they're 7-figure young moguls, like 7, but it's like 7. That's what they are. And she's been very instrumental in helping them get there. And listen, if I had a little kid right now, you just best know, I'd be like, hey, here go little teeny. We're going to help her, please. Like, that would be me. But my daughter, she's about to be 30. So, I gotta wait for the baby to get up, and, I have a granddaughter. And I could see her being a prodigy. She's 2 years old. We were in the airport a couple of weeks ago. We went to Boston, and she's 2. And so she was sitting down my daughter had the car seat in the airport. and she was sitting in the car seat, and this lady was sitting across from her. She was talking to her, and she was kind of talking back. And so she says, "Well, how old are you?" And she said, "2." And she says, "Oh, right." She says, so she started saying her ABCs, and then she started counting, so she can count to 10. She can say all her ABCs. So the lady looked at my daughter and said, "Is she really 2?" And she's like, "Yeah, she's 2." She's like she's about to turn 3. She's like, "No, she just turned 2." She's like, "Oh my God." So she was saying how she worked with little children and how my granddaughter was so much more advanced. But I look at my granddaughter, and I've been telling my daughter for a while, this kid is special. And I'm not just saying it because she's my granddaughter. I just watch everything she does. She watches everything that you do. So how young is too young to get the kid started? Because I'm looking at her now, and she watches everything, and she can go back and do it exactly like you did it. She'll watch you and she'll do it. And it's like crazy because we had to put like latches on the door, like way up high, because she can open up all the doors. She can take the tops off everything. My daughter got a lock on the refrigerator. We lock down everything because she watches everything. She can do everything. How young is too young to get your kids started?
It's never too young because it starts in mindset first. And so you don't want to wait till they have the skill set. You want to do the mindset. And so like I was saying earlier, when I used to travel back and forth, dropping them off to school and going to practices, we listened to personal development videos or, audio. And so I was developing their mindset constantly. We read, we listened to audio. So they were already getting the mindset of understanding entrepreneurship, leadership, motivation, and personal development, things of that nature. And so it's never too early to start. And the other thing I would say is introduce them to different languages. I think that really helps.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like we're just waiting. Her name is Carter. We're just waiting for Carter to sit down long enough because she'll sit for a little while, but then she gets antsy, so then she has to get up. So we're just waiting because I said to my daughter, I was like, so I always wanted to learn how to play the piano, which I still can. I just haven't. I was like, we got to teach her, like put in piano school, and she wants to play. Now she likes soccer. She wants to play. She likes soccer. She loves balls. I was like, really? Her mother, Janel, is such a girly girl. Play soccer, she may break a nail. The baby loves soccer already. And I was like, listen, we have to pay attention to these little things. I pay attention to everything. I didn't know back then. So when parents, like right now, my daughter was little, I didn't know to pay attention to the things that she probably liked. Right now, you have a parent that's watching this show or that will see the show later, and they're saying, well, I want to put my kid into something. What should they be looking for? Because we don't want to force the kids into stuff, but we want to be able to let them do the thing. What should they be looking for? How can they pay attention to what it is their kids are doing? Because I pay attention to everything. Like if Carter, she started out using her left hand all the time. It was like, she's going to be left-handed. And then she flipped it. Now she uses the right hand. Like we know that she loves you. We can stop her. If she's doing something bad, we say to her, Carter, help. If we said help somebody do something, she stops dead in her track to help. So we already know she's a serpent. We already know that. And so when we try to because she's rough. She's a rough little chick. But when she's doing something bad and we need to slow her down, we'll tell her, hey, go help such and such do the garbage. Go help take the clothes out. She will stop, Janel, like dead in her tracks and go help. And I was like, oh, this is how we stop her. And she also stops the music. If music comes on, she stops what she's doing. So we know those things. What should parents be looking for to kind of help them start preparing their kids for like these, these great lives that you're helping children to build, like right out the gate, like they're young? What should they be looking for?
They should be looking for their natural skill set and things that they gravitate to, and they do so effortlessly, so naturally, because it's easy for them, where other people struggle with it. But a lot of times we overlook it as parents because we take it for granted, just like we probably took our own skills and talents for granted because we like, everybody can do this. Why would somebody pay me to do this? This is easy. Everybody can do that. And even if it is easy and they can do it, they don't have time. They want to pay you because they don't got time to do it. Just like it's 7-figure, 8-figure lawnmower services out here. Well, everybody can cut their grass, but don't nobody want to do that. So they're gonna pay somebody to do it. So just
that's true.
Skills. And if it seems like they're not picking up on things or they keep switching up, that's fine. Just expose them to more, because once they find it, you will know. They'll talk about it. They'll keep going back to it. They won't be able to put it down, whether it be some type of sport, some type of instrument, some type of language. They'll study it. They'll go look at the history on it. You'll see they'll be watching the YouTube videos. They get into it. They really will, just gravitate to it because it piques their curiosity and it's something inside of them that's pulling them in that direction.
So when parents bring their kids and they want to put them into your program, is there an age requirement to be in the program? And if you get a difficult kid, do you kick them out the program? Or how do you handle that?
My program is not for the kids, it's for the parents. I teach the parents how to raise their prodigies. Yeah, because you're going to get some parenting skills in there. And it comes with mindset first. A lot of people, they want to talk about the money in the business. I don't care how much money you make. If you don't know how to keep it, what point?
Oh, so it's for the parents to teach their kids how to be. Oh, I like it. Yeah. I've never heard of that before, but that's pretty nice.
This is generational. I always think generational. I always think long term. If I teach the kids, that's cool. But if you teach your kids, you're teaching them how to parent as well. And so then, just like if your mama put the ketchup in the refrigerator or she kept it in the cabinet, you probably doing the same thing. Well, they're gonna do that with their kids. So if I teach you and then you teach your children, they will probably teach their kids and their kids' kids. Now we've breaking generational curses and we're building legacy. Yeah.
Oh man, that is so freaking cool. So is the program up and running already, or are you about to start it?
Nope, it's up and running. Parentsinaprodigy.com.
How many parents have gone through your academy, and what are they doing with their kids at this point?
Well, a lot of them, their children were already entrepreneurs, and so now it's just like fine tuning. Or now let's think long term, because a lot of times, again, we're playing small with our kids. It's like, oh, they're just 10. Mm-hmm. What they got to do with anything? Take ageism off of them, just like we wanted people to take, whether it be gender or sex or whatever thing, off of us. Take ageism off of them and let them go to the next level, because they can. They just have to be exposed to it. And sometimes, like I said, you're not the right coach or mentor for your child. So you can't take them to the next level because you haven't been to the next level and you don't know what that looks like. So you have to get them around people in other, children that look like them, that's doing the same thing that they're doing, same interests, or, similar interests where they have similar experiences, should I say, doing the same thing. So, definitely just exposing them to and putting them in that environment. Oh, but to answer your question, I think my first class was like 15 people, and that was about 3 months ago. And then since then, I think I've probably had 3 other clients. Like I said, I'm transitioning out of the military, so I haven't went full speed head on. But those parents are really easy because they understand value, and they also understand the sacrifice that goes into it. It's just like, people will sacrifice and be at the football field every Saturday with their kids and be at practice late at night in the cold, in the heat, rain, getting bit up by mosquitoes. And then, and when it gets cold, you got to have the blankets and all that, taking the snacks. But they won't put that same kind of energy and effort into making sure they have long-term success outside of sports or things of that nature. So it does come with a sacrifice. But again, every generation will get better at it, and it will become easier, and it will be just what they do. And it'll be regular dinner conversations that everybody's sitting here talking about streams of income, passive incomes, new deals, new things being worked, new ideas, new businesses. It will just be the norm for your household.
And I think about this when I was, so listen, guys, I got to tell you, I was honored to be a Truth Playmaker, not last year before last. So I was a Truth Playmaker. So I was excited about that. But I met this young girl, the young girl with the the baking business. What was her name?
You had a couple.
Oh God, I can't remember her.
Do you know where she lives?
I don't. She came to me. So listen, every time I meet the kids, right? These kids are doing phenomenally well. They come to me like, oh my God, I'm so excited to meet you. Like, I'm excited to meet you. I'm worse than the kids. Her branding was off the chain.
Simone.
I was like, what was her name? Simone. Oh God, listen, that little girl's branding was off the chain. So these are not, if you have a child right now, trust me, they're going to be in great company, because when she came to me, she was excited to meet me. I was excited to meet her. Her branding, and I didn't even have to tell her name. Janel knew exactly. Her branding was off the chain. When I tell you they have it together, they have it to listen. They put me to shame. Like, I'm like, Lord have mercy, I need to go back and do some work. So I think that I honestly believe, Janelle, that once you get finished with the military, I can't imagine parents not coming to you with their kids. I just to learn how to turn their kids into projects. I just cannot. Like, I think once you go mainstream, you're gonna have to train. You're gonna have to train prodigy advisors on how to advise, because it's only you. Like, I can, because just like you said, parents spend so much time and energy on their kids when it comes to sports. And I know, because I'm a sports aunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the cold, I'm in the rain, I'm in the heat, I'm fighting mosquitoes. I'm an aunt. So my brother, I'm an aunt. And that's me. And when anybody that knows me, like my nephew, like I can't wait for football season to start, because I'll be at every game, follow him up and down, whatever highway he's going to be on. That's just me. But I do believe that there is a shift in teaching our kids about business and entrepreneurship, because a lot of the parents are thinking that way. A lot of the parents are knowing, saying, and I can tell you, when I looked at football, my nephew was coming out of college, and we thought he was going to go pro. There were a lot of guys that were saying, man, I ain't trying to go out there and get knocked around. They were playing ball in college, but when they got ready to leave, they're like, I'm not going on the field. You're not knocking me out. I'm not going to get concussions anymore. I'm done. So I feel like that generation and the one that's behind them has said, yeah, we want to do something different. We don't want to do that. Now, sports is always going to be there, because there's always going to be a kid that say, you know what, this is my only way out. Sports.
That's fine, because that might be their talent and gift, but you can monetize that. Why is everybody else making money off your child but you? You spending money on the road, going to gas, paying to get in games, paying for jerseys and uniforms, and everybody's making money off your child but you? Wrong answer.
Wrong answer. It's crazy. My brother moved from Jersey in November, and he doesn't like to drive anywhere far. He has been to Florida 4 times in the last 2 months.
Wow.
4. And he's driven. He flew last week. He didn't drive last week. And I said, you didn't drive? He's like, no, I didn't drive this time. I was just tired. But he's been to Florida 4 times. And it's not just him. It's him, the wife, and my niece. And my nephew's already down there, and the other one. And I'm like, and so my husband said, because he's been trying to buy a house, and he's like, this house market is nuts. I don't know what's going on. My brother, my husband's like, he needs to buy a plane. He doesn't need a house. He needs to buy a plane, because he's going all the time. So, if a mom wants to get involved with your program because they want to raise little prodigies like you've done so well, what does that take for them? How much is the program? How can they get started? Is it open enrollment? Do you take a certain amount at a time? How does that work?
I will eventually be taking a certain amount at a time, because I want to be very exclusive, because I want to give my individual time to each child. So it's not just you come through and you paid your money and you just, I just know you via social media. No, it's going to be an intimate, because we're going to grow these kids' brand business and monetize their gifts and skill sets. And so it will be limited and exclusive, because they will be around other prodigies, and we're very protective of their circle. Everybody can't be in that circle. And of course, we all understand why, because as people elevate, everybody can't be attached to them, because a lot of things can happen, and it's weird out here in these social media streets. But they can get a hold of me via parentingprodigy.com. My first initial consultation with you will be breaking down what we go over the first 6 weeks, and that first 6 weeks we'll meet twice a week via Zoom. Everybody will be invited to Truth Playmakers the following year. Whenever, depending on when you sign up, you'll be invited to Truth Playmakers. So your kid can be exposed to these other children and be in the same room with them and have conversations and understand, how did they get on Good Morning America? How did you graduate at 12 years old and already in college? And things of that nature. And you'll be able to talk to those parents that have done that as well. So that'll be the first 6 weeks. And like I said, we'll meet twice a week, and we'll go over, what you're looking for, the problem that you think you have, and how I can help solve them. Because I know everybody is not my client. Some people kind of already know what their kid passion is. They just don't know how to monetize it. We can look at that as well. So I have different programs depending on where your child is already at currently, because they might already be running a business, but they can't get to the 6-figure, or they can't get to the 7-figure mark. What does that look like? What does it take? And what do I need to do differently? So it will be a little custom for everybody. It's not like cookie cutter. It will be a little custom for everybody, depending on where the parent is mentally and financially, and where the child is mentally and financially, and what does success look like to you. Some people like 6 figures is enough. I don't gotta make 7 figures. If I make a $500,000, that's 6 figures. I'm good. So, so it does come with a different level of pressure, different level of responsibilities, because you do start having people on the payroll that you got to pay. My son just started doing 401k, offering a 401k to his employees about 3 months ago. That was a whole headache. All that paperwork, that was like, but there's different levels to everything, and so it comes with more responsibility. So it just depends on what success look like to you. Do you want them just to be able to pay for college and have money when they get out of college to be able to buy them a house cash? Like, what does it look like to you? So it's different for everybody.
And listen, y'all, if you just joined the show, she was talking about her son just setting up 401ks for his employees. He's 14. I just wanted to say that one more time. He's 4, and he's been doing this since he was 9. So he's 14, and he has employees that he's setting up 401ks for. Just so you know, he's 14. I actually got to ask you this quick question. I'm gonna let you go. When we look at parents who put their kids in pageants and they put them in sports and they're just like fanatical about it. And then you got other parents like, oh my God, that's too much for the child. I'm an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. I barely sleep, right? I barely sleep because even when I want to sleep, my brain won't go to sleep. And so I understand what it's like to be excited about what you're doing and want to do it all the time. What happens when you have a child that says, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like looking at spreadsheets. I don't care what the P&L looks like right now, and then you got people looking in like, oh my God, she's pushing them too much. It's too much for the kids, not letting them be a kid. What do you say to those people? Because, I know they're out there, the trolls that you call. I know they're out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So again, every child is different. It might be too much for your child, but don't say it's too much for mine. That's the difference. I know what my child can handle. I don't take their money. They're not responsible for bills or anything like that. Their money is their money. But because they're investors, they understand how to handle and manage money. And like you said, you do the same thing with sports and pageants and nobody really has nothing to say. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, let them be a child. What does being a child look like? Being average? Going to school, playing on the playground, running track, playing football. Like, I don't do average in my household. And for you to judge me and pass judgment on my household and what we're doing and how we're raising our kids when we didn't ask you for anything, is silly. It's just silly. Like, worry about your household. If you don't want to raise prodigy, you want them to be dependent on you until they turn 24, graduating from college, and you be trying to struggle to help them after they get out of college because they don't have nowhere to live because they can't find a job. That's good for you. I'm glad you raised the average child doing child stuff and you let them have a great, childhood. My child had a great childhood, knowing that he's independent and then he's going to be able to pass this information down to his kids and his kids' kids. And he can go to college debt free because he can pay for it. He can actually give out scholarships. He can pay for his own car. He can pay for his own apartment. He can actually buy the apartment building. So it's different levels. Depends on what your level of success look like for you and your family. So just like I'm not judging you, don't judge me. That's all.
That's right. Listen, don't judge her because her kid's gonna be buying half of Atlanta. I'm speaking it out there for you. So listen, girl, it's been amazing. I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking, I really have to. And listen, y'all, don't get it twisted. Truth plays football. Like, he's a baller.
Football, like, soccer, like, he's done all of that and still run a 7-figure business and have employees at 14 years old. Do it get to the point where we got to juggle sometimes? But that's why you have employees and contractors.
That's why you do that. Listen, get you one, get some employees, but you got to get there first. I want to thank you so much. This has been amazing. I knew it would. I knew it'd be amazing. I'm excited about what you guys have going on. I'm really, I feel grateful that I met you guys. And I tell you, I don't believe in coincidences. I just feel like God always put people in your path when it's time. And trust me, we was in Huntsville, Alabama. Like, I drove to Alabama.
Yes.
My good friend Latanya, that's what she's doing. And she flew in from Germany. So, it wasn't a mistake that we met each other. And I'm grateful that I had a chance to meet both of you. And I'm super grateful that you are my first official guest for the Wise Women Invest podcast. So listen, I got more great women coming, and preferably Janel will come back and tell us more, because I want to talk about building businesses next time, because that's an investment too. I know a lot of times we talk about in stocks and things like that, but real estate and she's about to get into real estate and businesses. I feel like those are things we need to talk about too on the other side. Because I remember when I was first trying to raise funding for my first company, I spent a whole year on Wall Street talking to people, and I learned the lingo because I did that. Things have changed so much since then, and you have angel investors and you have crowdfunding investors and equity investors. So I want to talk about all of those things, and that's why this is such a great show, because it's all about money. It's all about making the money and making the money outlast you. So again, Janelle, thank you so much for being my guest this evening. I really appreciate you, girl, for that. And you're welcome. So listen, I'll be back again next Wednesday with another episode of Wise Women Invest. So listen, make sure to tune in, tell your friends. Listen, if you want to be a wise woman and invest, be sure to join us in our club. Right now we are just kicking off the Wise Women Invest Club, and it's going to be a club where we actually invest together, group economics. Now listen, if you got a negative spirit, don't come over there. We don't want you. We don't want you. It's not get rich quick. Don't come. I'm just trying to help you out now. All right. So Janelle, thank you so much. I will be talking to you again real soon.
Okay.
You enjoy the rest of your evening. All right, y'all. That ends this broadcast, and I'll be back again next Wednesday. So until next time, y'all know what I say. Make it a great day. Bye now.